Story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Glad to have you join us again on CoreTV News on the hour. I am Frank Omalapian here. Some of the stories we're filing at this time. President Goodluck Jonathan on Monday conferred different categories of national honors on 313 persons who have distinguished themselves in their various fields of endeavor. Among those honored at the ceremony, which was held at the International Conference Center, Abuja, were a taxi driver, Ime Usua, a traffic warden, Solomon Dauda, and a steward, Ono Isaac, who have displayed exemplary performances. The three of them got house gift in the Federal Capital Territory from the President, in addition to their National Awards member of the Order of the Niger. The President charged the honorees to ensure that the awards are not seen as mere pieces of paper and garland tied around their necks. The Monday's investiture brought to 4,737 the total of the national honors so far conferred on individuals since its inception in 1963. And while 54 years after he designed the Nigerian flag, the federal government has finally honored Pataiwa Kikumi. He was one of the 313 recipients of the national awards handed out by President Goodluck Jonathan in commemoration of Nigeria's 54th independence anniversary. The president also directed that the 77-year-old man be placed on the salary of a presidential aide for life. And this year's honorees are Nigeria's military leaders, senators, politicians, and other government functionaries. It also includes a taxi driver who returned 80 million naira he found in his cab to the rightful owner, and a presidential steward who had served Nigeria's leaders from Shehu Shagari to Goodluck Jonathan. There was tension in Ekiti State on Sunday as the news of a reprisal attack by suspected members of the Road Transport Association, Employee Association of Nigeria, spread in the state capital, Ado Ekiti. This is coming on the heels of a fresh allegation by the People's Democratic Party that the All Progressives Congress had concluded plans to import thugs from Lagos. But the APC said the allegation was a figment of imagination of the PDP, urging the police to arrest and prosecute anyone caught fomenting trouble in the state. A president and 5 vehicles belonging to a former state chairman of the association, Rotimi Olabiwonu, were on Friday burnt by people yet to be identified. The arson took place during the protest that followed a Thursday's murder of a former state chairman of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Omolafe Aderiye. Aderiye, a staunch supporter of the governor-elect Ayodele Fayose, was considered as a rival to Olabiwonu, a loyalist of Governor Kaode Fayemi. The news of a reprisal attack by the association members made motorists and commuters to avoid the Ajiloshu area of the town. Police have beefed up security in some flashpoints in Ado-Ekiti, including Ajiloshu, Ejigbo Old Garage, Fajuyi Park, and Ajimoshe junctions, when members of the association took over the place. The All Progressive Congress in Osun State has described the crisis in Ekiti State as one precipitated by the People's Democratic Party as part of an alleged grand plan being hashed by President Goodluck Jonathan to cause crisis in the southwest region, a neat bid to capture the region win the 2015 presidential election. The party made this known in a statement signed by its Director of Publicity, Kunle Oyatomi Inoshegbo. The party says the governor-elect of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, is the arrowhead of the attack, which is described as dangerous for the nation's democracy. The party added that the fact the attack on judges, lawyers, and others took place in the presence of security officials is a clear indication of the complexity of the PDP-led federal government. Meanwhile, the Osun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has accused the All Progressive Congress and the government of Osun State of planning to use thugs disguised as PDP members to commit arson in order to stop the ongoing sitting of the Election Petition Tribunal. The PDP, in a statement by its media and publicity director in Osun State, Deron Deyemi, says the party will continue to remain law-abiding and peace-loving. It vows to pursue justice to logical conclusion in order to reclaim its mandate before the tribunal. And as calls for and against the adoption of President Goodluck Jonathan as sole candidate of the People's Democratic Party at the 2015 presidential election continue to grow, the Lagos chapter of the party has disowned one of its members who filed a suit challenging the eligibility of the president to contest the poll. The party, in a statement by its publicity secretary, Taofeek Gani, describes Adejumo Agbaje as an inconsequential member of the party in the state. It says Agbaje is only representing his own interests and not that of the Lagos state chapter of the party. The PDP added, while it appreciates the inalienable rights of every Nigerian to aspire for any office in the country, it restated that President Goodluck Jonathan is its candidate and that he has achieved enough to be re-elected. It warned Agbaje to stop blackmailing the party in the state and declares that the party's support for the president is unshaken. Agbaje has dragged Jonathan before the Federal High Court in Lagos, challenging his eligibility to contest the 2015 presidential election. In a related issue, chieftains of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos have expressed confidence and the Jonathan-led administration, adding that it is the reason for the party's expected victory in the 2015 general elections. Chairman of the party in Lagos, Tunji Shele, and one of its chieftains in the southwest, Bode George, said Jonathan's patience in tackling Nigerians' myriads of problems had endeared him to all Nigerians.
I'm happy that now what the PDP started in our constitution, that there should be rotation, there should be zoning of appointments, zoning of political offices. The last constitutional conference, we approved it. That will now go into the national constitution. So every Nigerian, no matter how minority you are, minority or minor, you will be blessed someday. Turn by turn, Nigeria Limited.
APC is not organized. It's not yet a party. It's not a national party. We are a master of the game in the PDP, and we are ready to touch every nook and crannies during the elections. We are ready to present the best candidate so far that they will be surprised that we shall win in virtually all elections. We are prepared. Lagosians are ready for us. Nigerians are ready for good luck. And you can see what's going on now, that they don't even know where to start.
The statement credited to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission that INEC will register more political parties has started generating reactions from Nigerians, especially the political class. Correspondent Rashid reports that politicians in Osun State have expressed divergent opinions on the matter. The report.
Registration of political parties in Nigeria has always been a controversial issue, and many have argued that the matter should not be the sole responsibility of the electoral umpire, INEC. With the recent deregistration of some political parties on the basis of non-performance, many see the move to register more parties as a curious step by INEC, especially those in the APC.
Definitely, there's an ulterior motive. They want to weaken other political parties because they want to draw some best material from a strong political party for the people. You know, Nigerians, they prefer, most Nigerians prefer to be king in hell than to be servant in heaven. So that is what is happening. They will just draw them from big political party to go and form Muslim party so that they will see themselves as chairman and secretary and treasurer respectively.
To those in the PDP, INEC should be taking steps towards delivering a credible and acceptable elections in 2015 rather than compounding the Commission's problem in registering more political parties.
The INEC should get itself better, like I said earlier on, acquainted with the provision of the law. To get properly ready to conduct free, fair, credible elections. That is, election is some few months now. To begin to toy with the idea of creating political parties, registering some, I think it's not in consonance with some readiness for the all-important election that is coming up.
Though INEC is empowered within the law to register new political parties, this chieftain of the All Progressives Grand Alliance believes registering more parties at this point is wrong.
I think Professor Tairu Jeka and INEC will be carrying out such an exercise at a very awkward time, because the party primaries process are ongoing now. You know, like the APC, they fix their own convention for December 2nd. I heard that. And for the PDP, they have November. And for you to now say you are now registering new party now and the registering some, that steps should have been taken earlier than this. Because the INEC is doing two wrong things at this point in time. The issue of the unit, creation of new polling unit, is a little bit late. Then you now want to add the issue of the registering and re-registering new. What of some other parties that I know that were registered late during the last election? They were unable to field any candidate. So if you deregister or re-register new parties now, they cannot meet up with the time to conduct the party primaries and to present candidates for the election.
The recent deregistration of political parties by INEC, which is still being contested in court by some of the parties, divided opinion when it was done. But with the move for another registration of parties, Nigerians are watching how this will play out. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshobo.
The increased call for more women participation in Nigeria's politics has been heightened. The special advisor to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory on Legal and Multilateral Matters, Bimbola Hudein, speaking with CoreTV News, charges women to take their destinies in their hands by coming out in their large number to play their roles in politics. She added that as mothers, women hold more stake in nation building than their male counterparts.
We must vote. We must register to vote. We must participate in politics. As you know, women generally bear the brunt of whether misfortune or the good of the land. So it's so key to us. We want to educate women, we want to enlighten them, and we want more women to come into politics. That's why we are here.
It's CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a short break. We'll be back right after this time out. Join us again.
Der Torschütze zum zwischenzeitlichen 1-1. Emenike schickt Musa, da ist Ahmed Musa! Und da ist der Ausgleich!
It's a beautiful Saturday evening in the city of Lagos.
Off the turn, Phelps had it, but then Matsui kept going.
Finals. 5 to shoot. Leonard does.
Sports is concerned, and of course, making a difference for all of us here from all our production. I hope one of that shop.
Glad to have you back. Ahead of Monday's closure of Saudi Arabia borders for pilgrims, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria says it has successfully completed the airlift of all Nigerian pilgrims. The commission spokesperson, Uba Mana, confirmed this in a telephone interview from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Uba says the last batch of 1,000 pilgrims was conveyed from Lagos and Kaduna centers. He said as at midnight of Sunday, all the 76,000 pilgrims from Nigeria, including 66,000 from various state pilgrims welfare board and 10,000 from private operators, have been transported safely to Saudi Arabia for the exercise. beating the Saudi authority closure of all its borders by midnight of September 29, while Arafat will be observed on Friday, October 3. Mana says all the pilgrims are in high spirit and getting ready for the Hajj rise, with movement to Muna in preparation for Arafat on Friday. He also said no casualty or death has been recorded as the pilgrims were in good state of health. The spokesman said about 70% of the pilgrims was transported directly from Nigeria to Medina this year, as against the previous practice of taking the pilgrims to Jeddah. Doctors in the employment of the Lagos State government have made an appeal for the release of their withheld salaries and allowances for the month of August and September 2014. The government had taken the action in line with the suspension of the recent nationwide strike embarked upon by the Nigerian Medical Association to press home the demands for better working conditions in the health sector. Chairman of the Lagos State chapter of the association, Tope Ojo, says all other states, with the exception of Lagos, have complied with the agreement. Though the association, the state government have been meeting on the issue, no success, according to the doctors, have been achieved.
There have been agreements with the federal government and everybody, generally stakeholders, that after the suspension of the strike, this kind of action will not be meted to doctors at any level. So that we are appealing to the governor of Lagos State to please use his good office to expedite as soon as possible the payment of all withheld emolument of Lagos State doctors. The Nigerian Medical Association is committed to working with the state government to continue to cater for the health needs of the people of Lagos State, and we don't want all these flimsy things to come and throw a clog into the wheel of progress in terms of healthcare delivery.
In entertainment now, Chief Executive Officer All African Music Awards, AFRIMA, Michael Dada, has restated his confidence in the richness of African music with the prospect of a position in the continent, especially in the economic sector. He made this known at the unveiling of the list of nominees in 26 categories for the award coming up on November 9, 2014. Our correspondent, Omotai Alo, has more.
Chairman AFRIMA Media Committee, Steve Ayorinde, and Sponsorship Director of AFRIMA, Metlo Solsi, say the award initiative would encourage the artists to redouble their efforts and help build their image internationally.
The whole idea is to say, let us judge what we are doing with, our brothers and sisters from other parts of the continent, even from the diaspora. It is only then that we can say that, oh, it is not just about the fact that there is so much noise coming from West Africa. Do people outside of our own enclave enjoy as much as we are enjoying our thing?
All we're doing at AFRIMA is making sure that we start creating a robust music industry that is sustainable, where our artists do not retire poor or die broke or bankrupt. So the future of music in Africa has always been bright, but it's the business of music in Africa that has not really been strong or been sustainable. And all we're trying to do is help recreate or help support this industry that is already existing.
For his part, AFRIMA CEO Michael Dada says the African music industry has a lot to offer if adequately managed and promoted.
It's not only about playing music, it's about understanding the business of music and how can we use that as a perception and reputation platform for Africa. I think that's the future of music in Africa.
Music across the globe is a central unifying element which transcends race and religion, as Nigeria and the continent continue to celebrate individuals in the industry. AFRIMA wished that the economic value would complement the richness and quality of the African music. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
This is CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take another break and I'll be back shortly. Join us again.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
And outside Nigeria now, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says it is time for a reset in relations with the United States, blaming the Obama administration for the poor state of relations with Russia. Lavrov, who was foreign minister in 2010 when both countries had what it referred to as reset of relations, says the structures put in place then had been destroyed. While speaking to a Russian TV channel, Lavrov says it is in the interest of Russia to normalize relations with the United States, but posited that it was not the fault of the Russian Federation that relations with the U.S. are bad. Russia had been at odds with the West over a variety of issues, including the ongoing tension and war in Ukraine, which was preceded by its earlier annexation of the Ukrainian region of Crimea and the issue of the conflict in Syria. Lavrov, also speaking before the United Nations General Assembly, says the West supported a coup d'etat in Ukraine and condemned what he termed as interference in Syria, where the United States and its allies are conducting airstrikes against the Islamic State. He, however, says Russia will not abandon the path of cooperation that it has taken with America and the European Union. The unconscious bodies of 31 hikers have been found near the top of Japan's Mount Ontek, which has continued to erupt for the second day running. The hikers were not breathing at the time they were found, were part of the total number of 45 hikers who were being searched for, with climbers now calling off the search for the day. The Mount Ontek volcano, which is about 200 kilometers west of Tokyo, first erupted on Saturday without warning, spewing ash and rocks, with about 250 people initially trapped on the slopes of the popular beauty spot, but most got down safely. The eruption forced most of those on the slopes to make emergency descent through clouds of volcanic ash and falling rocks. Some of the people who escaped from the eruption say the ash built up so fast, making it very difficult for them to breathe, while also expressing worries over the fate of about 50 people who were thought to have stayed overnight on the mountain. And now in sport, Kenya's Denis Kimeto has broken the marathon world record in Berlin, winning the race in 2 hours, 2 minutes and 57 seconds. The 30-year-old Kenyan shook off the challenge of fellow Kenyan Emmanuel Mutai with just under 3 miles remaining to become the first man to run a marathon in less than 3 hours. Mutai, who finished second, also broke the previous record held by Ethiopian great Haile Gebrselassie in 2 hours, 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Kimeto says he's delighted at winning the race and breaking the world record. Well, and that'll be a wrap on CoreTV News at this time. And thanks for watching. I'll be back at top of the hour. Join us again.